We live.
We live.
Well, this is Trevor's show, so I don't have to do no big old intro. I can share while he.
Oh yeah, you do the shares. I just want to get this up on the thing that way I can read the comments. Commentations. Die. Give it a few moments for people to tune in.
So just piggyback on your topics.
Yeah, I mean we're just going over election irregularities again. Last night was the local Republican convention for the county.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that got wild. I didn't even go. Like, I was asleep in my chair.
Really?
Yeah. I'd been up for like 48 hours prior.
Dude, why you don't sleep?
Research. This one was into a friend's project, though.
Okay.
But yeah, like, he needed some help with the history project, which brought up some cool things about the Aztecs.
I would say math because you always doing some math. If my kids ever need help in math, you're gonna be the tutor because you will crunch some numbers.
Yeah, until it comes to algebra. I can do trading geo, but when it comes to algebra, I go get my wife. Honey, you're smarter than me. But no, so last night was the Republican Party convention for Genesee County.
Okay.
A third of the people in there walked out. A third.
Whoa. Why? What happened?
So there's this lady, Diane Cotter. She's kind of power hungry, power tripping. She just got put in as secretary when I first announced my candidacy, and I went up there. And now she thinks that she can become chair.
Okay.
And she's one of those like, Trump is the new Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that doesn't fly around here.
So do you feel like the Republican Party is trying to pull itself away back from Trump? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, so in terms of policy, I loved his policies. In terms of the things that came out of his face, I am not a fan.
Right.
Or his Twitter.
Right. And you know what? I don't have to like. Maybe they thought this was a call-in show. They called in already.
No. We don't do call-ins.
We're not
here.
doing call-ins today.
I get Mickey in enough trouble. No call-ins, please. Hey, Mr. Tarzma. Miss Sonia. But so you don't have to like. You were saying you don't have to like because the Republican Party's pulling away from Trump. And
right. I don't have to like you personally to like some of your policies. Like Trump, I basically don't like him as a person, but we didn't have this inflation.
God no.
Gas was cheaper than I've seen in years. Yeah. And I just see our country going back towards a recession again.
Oh yeah, we're technically, according to old definitions, because they like to play with definitions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Old definitions, we are in a recession. We've had 2 consecutive quarters of declining GDP.
Okay.
Of domestic production. Yeah, gross domestic production. So that puts us in a recession. They played around with the definition to say that it is no longer that there's like 60 other elements that would make it a recession. I mean, the same way that they played around with like vaccine. The word vaccine used to mean you get a shot, you are now immune or highly closer to being immune to a disease, polio.
Right.
We eradicated that off the damn planet.
Right.
Now you get a COVID shot in 30
But did you
boosters.
hear about the polio since you brought that up?
Oh, what's up?
Oakland County, and I think it's another big city. I can't remember, but it's the other city's not here in Michigan. They're now testing their sewage for polio.
Makes sense.
Right down the street. That makes sense. Break it down to me because you know.
So polio is one of those diseases, kind of like plague, that hides in places that you don't really go to very often. Okay. So you have 1 or 2 sewer workers that would go down there and could get it. But for the majority of the population, they're not playing around in sewers.
Right.
So there is less of a chance of them contracting it, just like bubonic plague. You'll still find that in sewer systems because rats hang out down there. Rats carry fleas that carry that. They just pass it between rat to rat to rat. So if you go down there and you're unprotected and a flea bites you with it, much like Lyme disease, city folk won't usually catch Lyme disease unless you live in Flint with all these overgrown lots and you walk through one of those.
But they're gonna be gone soon because in 2024, your mayor said that he was gonna have all the properties demoed.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
he also said he'd have pipes replaced. So he also said that
He
he
also
would
said
have.
he's gonna tell the truth.
He also said that he was going to propose balanced
He
budgets.
also said he had a degree. I mean, we could do this all day long. I mean, we could do this all day long.
He also said there'd be no corruption, bid rigging.
He also said crime was down.
Oh God.
He also said he won the election, but
I mean,
I'm just saying.
so speaking of election, I was speaking with a few folks that do more with elections than I ever could have.
Uh-huh.
And number one, the board of canvassers is only there to make sure that the books balance. So they have X amount of people that say they showed up, and they have X amount of votes.
Okay.
That is how that's supposed to be. They're not looking for corruption. They're not looking for.
But they were though. They wrote a letter to Leighton. Did that letter ever get to Leighton? Do we know?
I do not know. I mean, while they're in a good position to see it, it is not their job to act upon it except to call the prosecutor.
Right.
I mean, that's the same for any crime, really. You see dude walk into an appliance store and walk out with like 6 washing machines, and he didn't pay for them. You call the cops, you call the prosecutor.
Right.
So they're in a position to see the crime they call. They have that obligation. But their real job is to make sure that X amount of people sign the roster and say, hey, I showed up to vote, and there are X that same amount of ballots.
Okay.
Just balance that out. Except we didn't have that, did we?
No, 27 of our precincts didn't balance.
So
They still signed off on it.
they say that there's a margin of error, as there's always supposed to be. I like to know what that.
It's 50-50.
I'd like to know what the margin of error is, because those precincts that didn't balance, was that by not 0.3%, not 0.5? Was that by 10%?
Not Trevor, they didn't
Small
do
end
like
to
that.
large end. I want to know what that's supposed to be, what that margin of error is, and then get an aggregate of all that and see what the overall imbalance is. Is it within that margin of error? No, Vern did the right thing.
Vern, shout out to Vern.
The man has got cojones,
Yes, he does. Shout out to Vern for not putting his signature on something that Gloria wouldn't even sign off on.
Yeah.
So that makes, shout out to Vern. That's all I can say. Shout out to Vern.
You heard what happened in Arizona.
No, refresh my memory.
So there's a county in the northwest of Arizona. I can't remember the name, unfortunately. They were having large discrepancies between the number of people that signed off on the roster and the number of ballots they had. They were not going to certify until they were threatened. And I mean threatened with legal action, as in a Class 6 felony.
Really?
Yes. They even came out, and as they're signing, they say, I want to go on record. I am signing this under duress. So Vern, technically, depending on how big that margin of error is supposed to be and how big the margin was that we actually saw, and seeing as we won't actually get all these records released even with FOIA,
Right.
we'll never really know.
But they did say, and I think it'd be something for me and you to go just dibble and dabble into. They said that they have to keep the ballots for anybody.
Yeah.
That wants to come and look at them. You want to go look at them one day?
Oh, yeah.
I
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Fun
But-
field trip.
But Vern, if it falls within that margin of error and it's legally acceptable,
Mhm.
he can be charged with a Class 6 felony
Vern?
Yeah.
For not signing?
for not signing.
No, we can't let them do that to Vern. Vern was the only one that did the right
With
thing.
some integrity, yes. And I think because he knew that.
Karen, yes, we need an independent recount. Karen, no. Karen, no, wait a minute. We don't need a recount because they gonna get the same numbers.
Wrong.
Wrong?
So those canisters that came in,
Yes, the canisters
That were
they
open?
couldn't.
inadmissible in a recount. You will
Right.
not get the same numbers.
What you mean? They can't go in the canisters though, right, Trevor?
The canisters that came in that were already opened, that were not supposed to be opened.
6 of them, right?
6, no, I think it was 5 out of 6.
Okay.
Something like that. The vast majority, only one was left unmolested.
Mm.
Those cannot be counted. Period. In the story. Chain of custody was broken.
Well, how would an election supervisor let that chain of custody be broken?
Because the election supervisor is either negligent or complicit.
So basically, you would need an audit then.
A forensic audit?
I mean, much like they had in Arizona, yes.
So the audit would do it.
Though you can do a recount and it will change the results because, or may change the results, but it will change the numbers in its entirety because you cannot count those votes.
But the audit would be better though.
The audit would, so you can't really tell if this ballot here is illegitimate as compared to this one, unless you
Right.
see extra pin markings on it or, someone hit it with a magic eraser.
Mhm.
And then you can say, okay, well, I see that there were marks for Martin John here. And it looks like they were erased. So, and someone else with a different colored pin marked in John Edwards. Okay, that is clear cheating for John Edwards.
Right.
But without something that blatant, a forensic audit will just identify flaws in the system that can be addressed. It won't tell you exactly who cheated. It'll just tell you how.
Well, if we know how they cheated, we can pretty much come up with who did it.
I mean, so the Arizona Maricopa County audit in 2021 came up with that. They came up with slightly different numbers than the original count and the recount. And they said that there were, I think, 15% more absentee ballots than were actually requested. They couldn't tell which ballot was which, from the actual requested from the non-requested. Though they did note a large discrepancy that there were so many ballots with only one name put on there, one vote for one name, instead of like the entire ballot filled out, just one area.
I had a friend that called me and she said, Wyntis. She said she didn't want to come to me with it because it seemed like if I would have put it out, it would seem like it was from the Weaver camp.
Mm-hmm.
So she called that 1877 vote number
Yeah.
that we had put up. And she said immediately when she called DC, they asked her, "Are you calling from Flint?"
Yep. That's just like that.
And they looked her up and they told her, "Your absentee ballot was mailed out to you on such and such a date." And she said, "No, it wasn't. I never got it. I had to go vote." They said, "Yes, it was. We could see in the system where it was sent out to you." She said, "No, it wasn't. I had to go and vote because I never received it."
Did they tell her if she did vote? I mean, if that absentee ballot was returned?
I don't know. She didn't tell me that.
Because
That would be
that could be
But
some
when
nasty
she went to go
entrapment.
vote,
Hmm?
she voted. They wouldn't let her vote twice. Wouldn't she already be?
That's why I say that could be some nasty entrapment. Even if it's by accident, then it's, oh, we show in records you received absentee ballot. We received in records the absentee ballot came back, and then you went and voted in person. Even if she never touched that absentee ballot, how's that look?
Mm.
That looks dirty.
And then you said they made you put tape on it when you went downtown.
Scotch tape.
Scotch tape.
Yep, I said, do I like the envelope? I mean, I was a mess that day. I really was.
Well, yeah, you was going through a lot, but they did that to a lot of people, and I thought to myself, I said, now maybe they did it because of COVID, which is clearly understandable. But everybody else who mailed theirs back in had to lick it.
I mean, even if you're not licking it, a bowl of water with a sponge in it, you wet your fingers and you just go along the glue.
Mhm.
I mean, so many law offices do that. Do you think every time you receive a letter from a law office or something that someone sat there and licked it? No, they just wet their fingers.
I'm in records.
That's
We got
such.
the little round sponge thing,
Yep.
and we can either put it over the envelope or we take our finger to it because
Yep.
we're not gonna lick
And that's what
envelopes all day.
they could have done. Instead, no, Scotch tape. I honestly do not feel secure. I feel like my vote may have been looked at or tampered because it's just Scotch tape. I mean, I can open up my little canister of coffee here. All the steam that comes off would peel that Scotch tape off.
That's true. And then, oops, your ballot accidentally fell out. Oops, you accidentally voted for the wrong person. Oops, it accidentally got thrown away.
And then don't worry, we'll cover you and put the right one in. I used to unseal Christmas presents when I was a kid that were held together with Scotch tape.
Right.
You know, mom and dad are no longer here, so I can say this without getting a call or a ass whooping.
Well, and you know
You're
what?
never too old to go across your parents' knee.
No, you're never too old. Trust me, my mom still does.
But my question would be, you see that all the advancements of technology.
Mhm.
We see it every day in our world. The IT people, I work with a lot of them. They tell you,
These things right here.
I mean,
I mean, this
our
right here.
smartphones, right? All of this, and how we
A
can reach
decade
the
ago.
whole, we can reach the whole world
Mhm.
right here, sitting here in one spot. But I say this to say, the IT people will tell you, if you can think of it, it's already being worked on.
Mhm.
So why hasn't our voting process advanced? Why do we
When
still
it
have a
comes to
paper
technology,
process? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. When it comes to technology, this is actually something that happened last night. I play video games
Mhm.
quite prolifically. I was hanging out with my friend, Red Shirts Revenge, Star Trek fan.
Hey, Mayor, Mayor on here watching. Say hi to Mayor.
Hey, Mayor.
Get
So
excited.
I was hanging out, and we're playing Last Oasis, and he admins a server. He banned some guys for being horribly toxic.
Okay.
One of them direct messaged him and said, "How's life in X and X Maryland?" It's really easy to play with technology. I prefer paper ballots because if it's sealed properly and not with Scotch tape, you can see if that ballot's been opened.
Right.
You can match my signature on that envelope
Right.
instead of, you know,
Do they have to keep the envelopes too for
I
22
believe
months?
so.
Okay.
Anything and everything that has to do with an election has to be held on to. Any scrap of paper.
Okay.
If I were,
and it's 22 months.
Mhm.
22 months.
I mean, if
okay.
I were just to rip off a corner of this paper right here and draw a smiley face on it and throw it into my ballot, they'd actually have to hold on to that. Why? It's paper and it was now tied to the elections. They'd keep in its own little bin of like oddities, but it's there, and they would annotate which ballot it was on. And so, piece of paper described. Okay, corner torn off paper, smiley face, belonged to ballot 32. There you go. So yeah, they have to keep my envelope with my signature, everyone else's, and that's easy enough to verify
Right.
because my signature is my own. Granted, we're not teaching our kids how to sign anymore.
No, signatures, cursive writing is out the door.
I mean,
Well, my kids are learning cursive though.
I made mine. Because a few months ago, I took my youngest to the doctor, and she had to sign. I had to sign, and she started doing it in print. Little one, make all those letters connect. At least make it look like I cannot copy you, please.
Right.
It was fun, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. And give me a second. Someone had said something here. I'm gonna take a shot at this and correct me if I say it wrong, and please put the pronunciation in there. Don't we have an internal affairs office of city complaints? The ombudsman? Have we even gotten one of those back yet?
No.
No.
We haven't got an ombudsman back yet. I just thought
It's been
about
like
that.
2 months, right?
Yeah.
Middle of October.
Yeah, we don't have an ombudsman too
You
before.
caused a lot of problems when you said that last time. Remember, people that was on the board saying we have one that we handle. What was his name? The guy that he answered you on Facebook because you brought that up. We don't have an ombudsman.
I don't know. So many people
What's
answer
his
me on
name?
Facebook.
I'm trying to think his name, but I remember the comment he made. We doing an internal.
Oh, they're gonna do an internal.
Remember they said that, but that was a month ago when you had put that. That was like
You cannot hold the city of Flint's timeline is just off to me.
Mm-hmm.
We still waiting for the damn ARPA applications.
I told you that'll be here when the money comes.
Oh yeah.
Are they gonna have the applications come up?
Like y'all gonna get this direct organizational
The organizational chart
You
you
gonna get that
asking
chart
for 3 years.
when he leave office. That's what y'all gonna get.
Absolutely.
Y'all get it.
No.
They said in the beauty shop this morning, when we getting our ARPA money? I said, y'all got it, that $300 water credit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That none of us in the city really wanted. We knew that was a trap. So here's a fun little thing, and it relates to ARPA funds, but I learned it through the student loan forgiveness program. When you
Your
have,
Democrats got to stop on that.
there's a lot of fun there. That was just buying votes, even though it's constitutionally invalid. Anyway,
You see, I get them started.
so so how this all tumbled, right? Dad passed, life insurance came in,
Mhm.
and I was wondering, do I have to pay taxes on this? You do not. Okay. And then there's another search right there. Do I have to pay on my student loan forgiveness? I, I applied for that. I don't agree with it, but taking something off my credit report's always helpful.
Right, I applied for it too.
So I open it up, and it says, when you receive money, generally through the government, you do not have to pay taxes. However, any debt that is forgiven is considered income. Therefore, so you had a debt to the city of Flint for your water bill, whether you were up to date or you're $30,000 behind. You received a forgiveness of $300.
So you got to pay taxes on that.
Yep.
That's just like
So-
that
so-
little damn gift card that they give us at my job.
Mhm.
They give us a $20 Meyer gift card, but then they put it on our pay stub,
Mhm.
but we got to pay taxes out of it. So
Yep.
actually, I'm giving my own self a damn gift card.
Yeah. You're giving yourself a gift card,
Y'all hear this, man?
and then you're giving the government a chunk of that gift card. That's just like when it came to the water crisis settlement. Water crisis settlement comes in, the state panics because of how much it costs. What do? They raise everyone's taxes. You are paying yourself.
Settlement? Trevor, you making my head hurt when you said what water crisis settlement. Now this is what gets
The money has already been pulled out of the state account, right? It has gone to the lawyers that supposedly represented us in the most craptastic way possible, but that's another rant and rave.
But see, they talk about my ass for being outside of the city,
Look,
not and informing the people, but they let all the attorneys come in and get $200 million that don't even stay in the damn state.
over 40%. So actually, I can't say 40%. I do know the rock solid number is 20%. 20% of the overall settlement went to those lawyers. Why? Because they received nothing up front. This is standard practice.
Mhm.
But then on top of that, for each child represented into each bracket, they received 8% of their settlement as well.
Mm,
So 20% base and then 8% of everyone's settlement.
mm.
And they get that money before anyone in the city gets theirs.
Damn.
But let's go back to it. So the state has now had that money removed. It's been removed for a hot minute and went to the law firm. The law firm's now trying to find people to pay him out, supposedly. I mean, everyone has literally filled out the paperwork. I don't know why.
1,000 times.
So state is missing that money. They say, okay, now our general fund is hurting. We need to raise taxes to make that money back. They didn't make Flint tax exempt for those new taxes. So we are paying ourselves for being poisoned.
That's what Mr. May's trying to tell me.
And I have never heard of but one tax ever in the history of the United States being repealed. And that one tax was actually income tax, and that was only repealed for 20 years. It started during the Civil War. After the Civil War, it got repealed, and then it came right back in the 1920s.
Trevor, you be doing your homework.
I'm passionate about taxes. I think taxes is because before income taxes, before all these damn taxes that we see, including sales taxes, we still had roads, we still had fire departments, we still had cops. There were just other ways of funding them. And instead, now they use us as an ATM. And now they're using this ATM to launder money back, right, left, forward. I mean, how much of the city money has gone toward those damn golf courses, one way or another? And then they just sold them for $6,000?
No. Now let me correct you.
Okay, correct me.
They are leasing them.
Leasing them, $6,000 a year, $6,000 a month.
$6,000 a year. It's $15,000 for both of them. They said this was something that the emergency manager had brought in when they was trying to give away properties or do something with the golf courses and the parks back then, and they never changed it.
Okay.
Okay, so now it comes back up. Now see, I said you got me started because I talked about this on Facebook. You too can be a business person for $6,000. Now me and you can go in together and pay that little $500 something a month, and we'll get that back in a week with
Mhm.
the bar.
Just the bar.
Just the bar alone will make us millionaires. One has it's the Swartz Creek Golf Course, and then the other one is the Kersley Park. One of them got 25 what you call it, the little things where you hit the ball in
Holes.
holes, and then the other look I don't know golf terms,
Hey,
and then the other one I don't know how many holes it got. But see, I put that on my on the Flint Politics reboot. Go join today. And a lady came on there from the Flint something positive. She was like, "Oh, you need to stop. We got so much stuff, positive stuff going on in Flint, and this and this and this." And I said, "This is the
I want to
problem
know
right
where
here."
that lady lives. I want to know what ward.
But that's the problem. They try to blind us residents with all of the glitz and glamour and gold, and then they sell everything else up from underneath our asses while we paying attention to all the little frizzies and gold and beautiful little things. And then we got stuff like this slipping in.
You know who said it best?
Who?
Mark Twain.
What did Mark Twain say?
A bird in a gilded cage. So you're still a bird in a cage, and it's still a ratty cage. They just took some gold paint on it. That is Flint. That is our administration right now. We are living in a city that doesn't have cops. The cops don't have to respond. We don't have ambulances, and our firefighters don't legally have to go and do their damn job.
Right.
But there's all these little gold things, all these little sparkles, as you just said.
Mhm.
We're birds in a gilded cage.
Right.
I mean, let's not get started on the emergency services. I know I just did that to myself, but I just want to scream, rant, and yell because I don't live too far from here. Literally a 5-minute drive. I live over by Kettering. Yeah, I live by Kettering. You know, just around the block from Kettering. I don't see a cop at all. I do not see a City of Flint cop. There's a little mini police station there that people use for parking to go into the bagel shop.
Okay, so you over there, okay, in a nice, beautiful neighborhood.
Actually, 3 neighborhoods down where it starts getting run down.
Okay, okay.
So, you know, that's where I live. There's a little police mini station there, and I think honestly we'd have more cops there if that wasn't a bagel shop, if that was a donut shop, maybe a Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, no, because we don't have that many cops anyway.
We may even see one in the wild.
It's not that many cops, Trevor.
114 full-time officers, and I think they said something like 32 part-time officers,
Ooh,
which so many.
Read that comment from Mama Quill.
They are giving land and golf courses away practically free, and the only thing they are giving us is hell. Yeah, you know what? So have they announced any finance share yet?
No, I think they're gonna do all of that this week. Like Allie gonna give the roses out to whoever she picks
Okay.
this week.
So new finance chair.
Judy, we hear it might be your auntie. We're gonna quit calling her your auntie.
So Councilwoman Priestley,
We're gonna call her We're gonna call her number 4.
I can't do that.
I know you gotta be respectful.
I got to be respectful to all of them, and just because they got a direct line to Judy a new one because of my mouth, and I don't like causing other people problems unless they're in it, they truly deserve it.
Well, you just tell me what you want me to say, and I'll say it for you.
You don't cuss.
I do cuss.
You don't cuss the way I do. So, but
You're right. I'm the church lady.
You are.
Sister Cardi B.
hey, you are the church lady. You sit here and talk with pastors and deacons and all these nice.
You can talk to them people too. They people. That's what people don't fail to realize. The pastors and everything. They just people. They bleed just like we bleed.
I just don't get along too well. I mean, I get along with them. You know, well, that's a separate.
Okay,
all right. So
We're going
new
off
finance
subject.
chair.
Okay.
I will, for one of those golf courses, double it right now.
I think they should let the give the people an opportunity to bid. Trevor.
Mm-hmm. I will literally double it right now. Reopen the bid. I will sign the check to the City of Flint.
And you can lease it out. Why not let the residents? I would love to know.
Everyone in the City of Flint should have that.
Exactly. You should have an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And then that other house that was being sold to a company in a residential.
A company.
Glenn's Happy Homes, that's the name of it, was buying a house. For what?
I'm sorry, I hear Glenn's Happy Homes, and all I hear is so I hear that in my mind. I hear Glenn's ripoff scam,
No, Glenn's Group Homes.
ripoff.
Rip off.
I mean that's like Honest Dave's car lots.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I ain't going no
That's
place
true.
that has to say they're happy or honest. If I have a choice, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So how much is Happy Glenn's getting that house for?
I don't know. I couldn't even get to the house
A
because
pittance?
I got stuck on the golf courses. Now see, they put that on the agenda. That's where I got it from.
I don't even
That's
play
why
golf.
I encourage you all to join Flint Politics Reboot. Look at the agendas and that are posted weekly for these different council meetings and committee meetings.
Mhm.
You'll learn a lot of stuff. They
Oh,
put on there for um, the release for the golf club, the two golf courses,
Mhm.
but they didn't put the price. You never would have known the price if Constable Mays didn't say anything. He
Mhm.
like, this is 500. Was it Mays of Burns? I can't remember. It was one of them. They said like, this is 500 some dollars a month for a golf course, and one of them got a bar.
I want the bar, but
So hell yeah, I'm gonna be loud about it
yeah,
because the residents are always getting left out.
and
My big mouth gonna
here's
keep screaming.
here's the fun part about that. So that goes into our general fund, but we still, as a city of Flint, take care of the area around the golf course and still bring up the golf course's value. Where am I receiving any? Where is anyone in the city of Flint receiving any sort of income from this? Any sort of positive? Any sort of anything? I mean, I can drive by a pretty golf course. That's awesome. You know what also looks pretty around here? The graveyards. That does
That's true.
absolutely nothing. It doesn't bring any value to my home. It doesn't bring in any businesses.
Mhm.
It doesn't bring in any money, and it doesn't even make people want to come to Flint. The golf course is there really for either the old timers that worked for GM and made a lot of money back in the day,
The good old boys,
or people who are visiting Flint for other business
or
and
the
they just want to.
domestic beer drinkers.
Yeah, but you really, this isn't a world class golf course.
Mhm.
It doesn't bring in business. So why are my funds, my taxes, the money you steal from me at technically gunpoint?
Didn't you guys just have a park and recreation millage that you had to renew or something like that?
Yeah,
So wouldn't it, oh,
I
Councilwoman
voted hell
Tanya
no on
Burns,
that.
thank you for tuning in. Because like I said, I think it was either her or Mays that was talking about the golf courses, and I'm still gonna just make a big deal about that.
Oh, by the way, you said go to Flint Politics and
Flint Politics Reboot.
Reboot and pay attention to uh, committees. Speaking of, because I remember you last week and prior talking about possibility of Eva Worthing being our finance chair.
Yeah.
So do you know what she chairs now? She chairs the grants.
Mm.
Do you know how many she actually chaired over a year?
One.
One.
I knew that answer.
One.
One.
Out of 52 plus meetings?
One.
She said she was a game changer.
Who said
Hey, she did change the game.
No,
she
that,
kept hitting
that was
snooze.
Eva.
No.
Liddell said she was.
No, you ain't see that. What's the name? That flyer she got out. She just put
Who?
a flyer with her and Teray King.
Oh, that was Liddell. Liddell said some called me a game changer, some called me a park ranger, but I'm this and that and whatever.
Look, the only thing I can think of is Traveler.
Dollar traveler,
Or Frequent Flyer.
frequent flyer.
But
Oh yeah, remember she said her husband. She talking about her husband. Some call her wife, but she had to. Some call me mommy and all that. But I can tell you what they ain't calling you. A
What?
senior council person.
A
You know
senior
what they doing?
competent.
Yeah.
No, they not.
I wonder how many frequent flyer miles she got when she just got up and flew out of that meeting before that vote.
She said she was leaving because she had to go to a school activity the next morning. She tried to stay as
Next morning, but you run out of there? You
And have y'all
Her feet
seen
didn't
the,
even touch the ground.
and have y'all seen the condition of the Flint school?
Don't get me started on the Flint
Okay, I'm
schools.
just saying,
Look,
but she
I've got
doing-
some high hopes for those now.
For what?
Flint schools. And
Why?
that's Michael Black.
Shit. That's just one person.
That's one person with common sense,
That's
which
gonna
is
be that's
infinitely
gonna, that's
more.
gonna be
Bombarded with all
right.
the fools around it.
yeah.
One person with common sense is infinitely more common sense on that board already. I mean, infinitely.
You know what he finna be turned into? I'm finna tell you.
What?
They finna be clackuses up there. Like how
Oh,
Eric
yeah.
Mays was going
Clack is
through.
gonna be.
Listen,
Clack is
you
definitely
got-
gonna be the Eric Mays.
you
of
got
the
two-
school board.
That's been trying to run it the whole time. Really, them two should have been gone.
Honestly, next time I see Mr. Clack, I need to stop by Walmart first and buy one of those giant ass bottles of aspirin, like 500 pills. Because that man is going to be chewing those like Tic Tacs, the amount of headaches he's going to have.
Listen, they think because they got the new ones on there, you still had two that was problem makers that was still on there.
Joyce
And
McNeil is
Laura
still the
McIntyre.
president. Is Joyce the
No,
president?
they got to do both.
Oh, they
now.
got to do because
Mhm.
Carol was the president,
Yeah.
but she didn't make it back.
Yeah,
So they got Joyce McNeil and Laura is still there.
yeah.
They
Mhm.
got Melanie Rutherford. They got Michael Clack. They got Claudia.
I mean, I have to have some sort of hope because one of my kids is still technically in the public school system.
Oh,
I have one that I said, no, public schools can't even control their own kids. Bullying is out of control. They're bullying the damn teachers.
Yeah, no.
So, no,
it was so much
Sweetheart, you are a paper-skinned, soft little child. You are going to a charter school where teachers have some damn control. My oldest, however, goes to Mott Middle College, which is half run by our school district, half run by the college.
Okay.
But that's really good though. I like them.
Well, it's a 5-year high school program, and you walk out of there with an associate's degree. My child's boyfriend is walking out of there with 2. He worked his ass off so hard.
My son just graduated from U of M. He did it at U of M. He just
That's the only
yeah.
place, the high school that you should send.
Yeah, graduated, yeah.
Grand
Like-
Lake is too full.
No, because what
Harmon
you is,
Ainsworth is the new Flint.
because you got to really understand, like how they said they want to build these, like all at the 5 school. Okay, you can build a 5 school. The students you got to put in there. But remember, as you putting them, these same students, remember you putting the same teachers who stressed out, underpaid. So you
Yep.
thinking, because you creating some new walls, new, you updating the school, and you gonna put some kids in there and teachers who really ain't been, reaching them anyway.
You know what we
I
really need?
predict there won't be any Flint schools in 5 years.
You know what we really need in schools? Not just in Flint, but Flint especially. We need to upgrade A, the way we teach, and B, the technology we teach with. We don't need, because COVID, so many kids got Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Chromebooks are absolutely terrible, even if you're doing in-person classes, because it's so easy just to hit 2 keys, Alt and Tab, and you go over to your next window. And it's so easy just to skip what the teachers do. I would really like to see tablets that the teacher, they're all networked, and the teacher, so it says English 1, can flip the page, and the students have no control, except for maybe screenshotting so they can remember it later.
Right.
Because
That's that advancement of technology that they do have in other schools,
But
but they're just giving our kids.
But that's the
very
question I
bad.
want to ask that question. That's what I was going to ask y'all. How can we see this, but you got a school board?
They can't see it.
That
And they
they,
talk
I'm
about they
saying,
want to modernize.
yeah, they saying they want to modernize. They got 136
you know what they
million.
modernized? They modernized the ink in those printers. That's it. They changed out the ink cartridge. Oh, it's modernized.
I think the school board sucks, and I'm gonna say it. I
It's
think
just like council, because look who you putting in. They not people that's getting on there, or the ones that's still on there. They were not in there to really to help the children.
No.
people in Flint like titles.
Yep.
And they
before
like
name.
using Flint as a stepping stone.
Stepping stone
Definitely,
to
yeah.
get to the next level.
Well,
I've always said, and Art has said it too. Flint, you come to Flint if you want to. Flint will make you a millionaire, and you'll take off. But the ones that's here, that's trying to help every day and get the stuff out, they damn near run us in the ground.
I mean, so you go to so many of these areas where these people are living day in and day out. And they've been doing everything they can to help their neighborhood and help their city.
Thank
And-
you, everybody, for tuning in.
And their city doesn't help them. And they're living in squalor. And when they do ask for help, say some ARPA funds to update my home, to at least put a damn roof on it instead of a tarp,
See,
there's no applications.
I told them that in the beauty shop this morning. I said that's what hurt Dr. Weaver the most. She rode around the city, after the election, and she said, and she had, this was a private conversation between me and her, but she said, Wyntis, I looked at all of the tarps, the blue tarps on people's houses,
Mhm.
and she said, I wanted to help these people. And that kind of stuck with me
Yeah.
because it's people that need help and they're not getting it. A lady this morning, she lives in Slidell,
Okay.
and I didn't know it was separate apartments to the building of Slidell. It's a senior center on Carpenter Road, and I tagged that Ronnie Dahl or whatever her name is, the one who was looking at the scrappers yesterday for TV 12. I told her to go
Hanging
sit,
out for over 2 hours. Yeah.
waiting for the police. I told her to go sit down there by Slidell Apartments. She said back in the back where she stayed, is no lights back there. They got half the apartments boarded up and scrappers. She just sit there in her window and watching all day and all night. And that's how they got our seniors living. That's affordable housing in Flint.
You were going about this last night, and I called in. I don't have the numbers on me, but if you are living bare minimum with just eating ramen once a day and keeping your lights on for maybe 2 hours a day, it should cost you as a single person about $1,300 a month. That's not including vehicles, the gas for the vehicles, the insurance, any of that. This is just basic existence, not even living.
Mm.
And you sit there and think about that, but go to let's go to Bucktooth, say Kentucky,
Right.
which isn't a real city, but whenever I think of Kentucky, I think of some mean names for some types of people.
Hey, don't do that. That's where Eva's from.
That explains a lot. A lot of cousin sisters down there. I mean, what? Anyway.
Shut up, Trevor.
Look, no, I can't say that one on there. Anyway, but you go to that general area, especially into the hills, into the hollers,
Uh-huh.
and you're looking at that same lifestyle in, say, a double wide, which is far bigger than any apartment you're going to catch in Flint.
You talking about the trailers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this trailer's a trailer, but double the space. For about $600 a month. Same lifestyle, just one packet of ramen a day, lights on for an hour a day, you have your water, and you have your rent.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that double wide in the middle of nowhere where there ain't no jobs, there ain't nothing except for maybe brewing some shine, so much cheaper than here where we have infrastructure that was designed to support more than double our city's numbers, more than Flint and all of our surrounding smaller cities, smaller municipalities. And yet, somehow, with all this space, with everything available, we cannot, or our city, parts of our council, our administration, so forth and other, cannot pull their collective heads out of their asses to get some sort of investment in here from a company.
Well, they saying,
Flint is
they gotta quit using the damn excuse that Eric Mays is the problem of why people don't want to come here to invest in businesses. That's just a cop out to me.
So I speak to people all over the world daily. I mean, literally around the world.
Mhm.
The first thing they know when I tell them I am from Flint, Michigan, is the water crisis. I mean, I've had people from Croatia. You know where Croatia is?
Heard of it, don't know where it's at.
It's in Eastern Europe. It's an ex-Soviet bloc.
Never been there.
Hell, myself. But the gentleman goes, "Sorry for your water."
Sorry for your water.
Yes, I'm sitting there going, bro, that's messed up. You're living in a place where your apartment buildings are literally crumbling, somewhat worse than ours.
Ain't got clean damn water.
You got clean water, and you are apologizing to me for where I live. The second thing that people say, though, and this is from a dude in Australia that I know, he goes, "Oh yeah, I remember reading about Flint. you guys have all those GM plants. You were literally the auto making capital of the world.
Flint, not
So they
Detroit.
know Flint for two things, and we only hear about one, the water. But we never hear about the ingenuitive spirit and the hardworking people of Flint, even though everyone literally around the world knows about it.
Right.
So if we have that kind of reputation, people that will bust their ass for a company that treats them right for more than 20 years, more than 20 years, just give them a fair shake. How come we can't leverage that to bring in more jobs here, to bring in more economic prosperity, to help raise the people up? And that is just a failure on leadership.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at all of these campaign promises. Now we got to keep track of all of this shit he said he was gonna do. He bringing what 3,000 jobs to that new Buick City site over there.
Wow.
He gonna demo all the houses.
3,000 jobs
Flint.
when we have a poverty rate of 52%. I mean, by poverty rate, I mean we have people making less than $15,000 a year. So
Sure do.
52%. And when it comes to homelessness, we have about 4 to 5,000 people who are homeless.
Hold up. So you
Listen.
mean 52%
More than half the city
in
is.
poverty?
If they were in anywhere else in the country, they would be declaring bankruptcy.
Listen,
If they would allow you to declare bankruptcy.
two things that Linda Poley put up this week that caught my eye. $24,100. She said this was published by the Times. $24,100 is the median wealth of black households in the United States.
Okay.
The median wealth of white households in the United States is $188,200.
I'm wondering where that's coming from. You know what? I can actually see that because it's a median. So you got all the Elon Musk, the Jack Dorseys, and Mark Zuckerbergs, white folk, and that aggregates into that.
Right.
So if we take out the outliers, I think you would see that 188,000 go way down. I don't know if it'd be equal.
Right.
It definitely more
It won't
likely
be
wouldn't
equal.
be.
No.
Wouldn't be. But you also have to. Yeah, that's a different discussion. But I see the difference, especially when it comes to Detroit.
Right.
When it comes to Flint. When it comes to God, where are those cities?
Saginaw.
Saginaw.
Benton Harbor.
Buena Vista, the little places. Yeah.
I mean, let's
Pontiac.
we can also look at New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire state, but no, there's
Camden.
Camden. That was one of the 4 large cities that are more than 50% African American.
Baltimore.
Baltimore, yeah.
Oh God, I don't know how many people actually live in Baltimore anymore. You take a look at photos of that place. I've literally seen bombed out buildings in better condition.
Yeah,
Wow.
you got Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's true too. And listen, I think that was the other city that was doing a search for that sewage and polio and the sewage. It was one more thing that Linda put up that, like I say, they try to people. I'm not gonna keep saying they because it's just
There's so many.
There's certain groups of people that try to blind us with the beautiful stars and golds and stuff. But right here, right now, today, and I bet half of the people on more than half of the people on this podcast didn't know. The Supreme Court of the United States is preparing to rule on a case that will determine whether universities can consider race in any part of their admission decisions.
Yeah. I've known that one.
What the hell? Are we going back to what? What was
So
why should my race matter? It seems like we are going backwards in time.
that's actually part of their standard practice where they evaluate. So white and Asian student scores 1,400 on SATs. Most of these universities take a look at, all right, that 1,400, then take a look at the race of the person. Asian person actually gets considered to have 250 points deducted from that. While Hispanics actually get a small amount of points added, and African Americans get a small points considered to be added.
That's just horrible. I think that's horrible.
And then,
like that's
Now, this was really going to blow your mind. This is one of the questions. See what Irish said. Those
Hey, Mr.
are what
Art.
we just said. Those are democratic cities. We don't hold our people accountable. We just vote.
And he has,
I'm
and Art is
really
absolutely
trying.
right.
He's right,
He's
and
so right.
because I hang out on so many conservative subreddits, websites, things like that, I do avoid the crazies. I avoid like the folks that would say walk in on January 6th. Those aren't my sites. But you do see that actually get brought up.
Mhm.
So you look at Chicago, Philadelphia, yada yada. These are Democrat cities. If you look at Flint, though we've had a quote Republican mayor, though they're all supposed to be
He had a
nonpartisan,
Democratic mayor.
we've had.
Oh,
But for the most part, the city has been run by Democrats for the past 40 years. Here's the thing: I don't consider the people that have actually run any of these cities to be real Republican or Democrats. These are me's. This is
Right.
the me party.
Right.
Screw everyone else. This is the me party.
And
They
Art,
just put a certain letter in front of their name and then they just bank on that to get votes. And it's disgusting
That's
because
true.
they don't actually stand up. I don't agree with Democrats on a hell of a lot. But there's some that I do. And I don't see these people in these cities, city council, mayor, even their government representatives up to state and federal levels, standing up at least to those principles.
no, they don't. They'll
And
say they will, but they don't.
like Kildee, what has he done for us? And yet,
He came and gave us donuts on election day. I ain't even.
oh damn, did he have sprinkles on him? But exactly, and we don't hold him accountable. But we see a D in front of his name, and so many people want to vote for him. Or his opponent, his opponent didn't even have a name. Really.
Young, Paul Young.
Oh.
Was that who was running against him?
Yeah, all right. Well, I blocked his name out for a reason.
I'm sorry.
Mentally,
I'm sorry.
fuck that guy.
Okay.
No,
I don't
either
want
way, and Young was just running with an R in front of his name, not really standing up for the Republican ideals, and he's part of the Me Party. You aren't finding people that actually stand up for these ethics and ideals that they say they do.
That's true. You don't.
They're
Everybody
all
look,
the exact damn same.
look at the council. Perfect example. All of the new council members that got elected in there was running on change. We're gonna change from having these long meetings. We're
Mhm.
gonna change the behavior. We're gonna get this business of the city done. They ain't did shit.
I remember talking to Tanya, and she was the only one that I actually believed. Obviously, aside from Judy, because Judy's family, and she automatically gets trust from me.
She don't get that from me.
That's fine. But automatically, because until someone has screwed you over, especially family, you give them that trust, right?
Mhm.
So I remember talking with Tanya, and I remember talking to her opponent. Uh-oh. I don't know what that is. I'm just gonna slip that aside for now. Anyway, and I remember Tanya saying, I don't like how there's these cliques in city council.
Right.
I want to try to change that. I go, well, what would you do? I just want to be friends with everyone and actually get some sort of business done.
Right.
If there's no hard feelings,
And you see her trying to do
Yeah.
that, but it
If
just don't work.
there's no hard feelings, then there is no vengeance votes.
Right.
So Tanya proposes X. Eva is just slamming that down. Even if it were just an ordinance to give the Ninth Ward, $8 million to do
Is
whatever
she
the hell,
Ninth
she would
Ward?
still vote
I don't
that.
know what ward she in. She's been sitting every damn where. She playing
Yeah.
musical chairs. She's
But-
scared of Tanya jumping over Dennis, but then she gonna sit by Eric Mays. That blows my mind.
Who she accused of threatening her.
That just
You remember
the weirdest
that?
shit in the world.
Now, how often has a white woman, I hate playing into race, right?
Right.
But how often has a white woman throughout the history of the United States just said a black man has threatened her, and that black man just goes to jail based off that threat? No evidence, none of that. And then she decides to sit by him?
Carolyn Bryant.
I mean,
I sound like Mickey.
is she threatened by him? Does she feel afraid of him?
She can never
Because-
say that she's threatened by him anymore because she chose to move her seat to the other side of the table. But I want to back up here
I'm
before
sorry, I
we get
have to
too
yell
far.
about that one because I'm screaming.
I know. I want to back up to what Art is saying. Art
Mr.
made a
Art is
couple
wonderful.
good. Look, listen, Art. I wanted to read this because they said this in the beauty shop this morning. They have to keep us poor because that is how they get the free money. Property is a big business. They come in here with the label of affordable housing, but that shit ain't affordable.
No.
And then Art also said, I'm gonna let you take your show. I just want to read the
Oh, no, you're
comments for
good.
you.
Because art's awesome.
Look at all the money that has come here, but it never makes it to the people of Flint. It all goes to these organizations. I swear you had my phone tapped this morning because I said the same thing at the beauty shop. I told them when they was asking about where's the ARPA money at, we would have got the ARPA money because we all voted for Dr. Weaver. Did we know they did something? Dr. Weaver would have made sure the money made it to us. Yes, you're exactly right. But all you're gonna get is that little $300 credit that you didn't got. And they're gonna keep you poor. And all the money that comes here from that ARPA money is gonna go to the same little organizations,
Hmm.
the same people, and me and you, people like me and you, will never see any of
No.
that ARPA money, even though they rebranded Flint. Now you
So-
go ahead and take over.
What didn't get spent off that? You saw how much goes to grants, right? Where do
Mhm.
those grants usually go?
To organizations.
Nonprofits. What do you call those, Mickey?
501c3 trappers.
There we go.
50C3 trappers. Lord have mercy. That's a new one.
And they get that, and poof, they're gone.
Mhm.
They're gone, just like a wildcat after mating.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, it's just that's how it is. And you see all these nonprofits pop up, and I've never seen one. Okay, no, I've seen like two or three actually fulfill and go through with what they say they're going to do, even if they didn't get the money. They're still there.
These people don't care. They don't live here in the community. They don't invest in the community. And I'll give you a prime example. The guy who came up and shouts out to Councilwoman Burns for stopping his ass. He came up there. I'm going to say that he was promised the property where Value City is. He wants to tear that down and build apartments. Well, you got Sunset Village over here that's about to fall through the ground. They talking about they redoing it 1 minute, the other minute they gonna condemn it. I don't know what's going on, Tanya. Maybe you can let us know. But I know that they can never redo that building, and as old as it is, to put in air because the pipes and stuff is too old. So that those apartments will never have central air. But that man came up there to that mic, and if you watch how he acted, we're not taking call-ins doing this show. I'm sorry.
No,
We get a
guys.
phone running.
My mouth gets us in enough trouble. We don't need your help.
But that man came up there to the mic at council. He was like, and where's my property? I wanna get my property.
Mine.
And they tried to tell him about the Sunset Village properties that you already own that people are complaining about. And he was like, I ain't received no complaints. I don't know what y'all talking about. What you about to see now unfold,
Slumlord.
right? You about to see properties, promise properties. That's what I'm gonna call them. Promise campaign properties. I'm eager to see if that man is gonna get Value City
Mm-hmm.
Plaza after he's been slummed out half the city. I'm eager to see who's gonna get Queen of Esther. Oh,
House of
House
Esther.
of Esther. I'm getting that mixed up. I'm eager to see who gonna get House of Esther. And I'm also watching another property on Pearson Road where the old Sussex apartments used to be.
Mm-hmm.
They got that fenced off. Somebody got that land, and I'm waiting to see, are they just gonna push weed, marijuana dispensaries all over the city of Flint, and we're not gonna collect any money?
It's so bad because marijuana dispensaries, right?
Mhm.
And Doc Weaver fought the state over this, but she was the only one trying to sit down at that table and got dismissed, right? And none of these other cities had the guts, cojones, or brains to do the same as Doc. And it was this bill passed that allowed marijuana dispensaries. Okay. I stepped into Gage the other day. I thought it was the Apple iStore. I'm going, how much money can they make here? I asked them, tens of thousands a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much the city sees?
Pennies on the dollar.
Less. You're talking about fractions of pennies. Why? Because the city is not allowed to tax any of that at all, period, in the story. That all goes to the state. And the state takes what the hell they want.
And divides it up.
Whatever's left, they give to the counties. The county takes whatever it wants, and then you're seeing fractions of a penny on the dollar,
Yep.
if not less, coming to the
Absolutely
city.
true. So art, what art say? Exploiting the community.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then
So we gonna put all of the dope house. I mean, all of the dispensaries in
and
Flint.
it isn't just dispensaries, because party stores left and right. You cannot go 3 blocks in any direction in the city without seeing some sort of liquor store,
That's
and
true.
those thrive. You know, I have a small corner store around the corner from me, University Mini Market. The man doesn't sell any hard liquor, and he's had to close down at nights instead of being able to afford a 24-hour operation. He's mostly a snack store. You
Mm.
go in there and you get your hot Cheetos.
Right. Some for
But
college kids.
He can't really keep up with these liquor stores. And one thing that really disgusted me during the pandemic was Whitmer popped up and goes, "Oh yeah, party stores are essential." Wait, my buzz is essential now? Man, you guys don't even carry my brandy. That good, like that Chihuahua, that bottom bottle good stuff.
Right.
But
right.
that's essential as compared to 90% of the other things around here. You know, I like to get a haircut. Why? Because I look like a damn dirty hippie, and I feel like I am less hygienic with my hair long.
right. May I read this comment from Mr. Woodson?
Mr. Woodson is always welcome.
He said the
Oh, damn,
term
that's massive.
exploit commonly means to selfishly take advantage of someone in order to profit from them or otherwise benefit oneself. In all organizations, programs, or even charities, there are good and bad people. Some organizations are formed only for the purpose of taking and making money at the expense of the people they claim to be helping. Poverty is a big money making industry, and many in the poverty business don't want to eradicate poverty. They want to control poverty so they can keep getting funding. For many, the funding provides a comfortable life for them at the expense of those they claim to be supporting. If poverty becomes obsolete, then the money stops. What's your thoughts on that?
That's true. I mean, if I build my entire business, because that's what this is. This isn't a non-profit. This is a business. Someone's making money
Mm-hmm.
on doing X. If X no longer exists, my business stops. I stop receiving money. Period. In the story. That's like pest control.
Right.
It's pest control, not pest eradication. Why? Because if I kill all the cockroaches, fleas, ticks, uh, water bugs, earwigs, ants, period,
I'm
then
out
you
of
have no
business.
reason to call me.
That's right.
I have
That's right.
no more business.
That's right.
So yes, he makes absolute sense there. And there are certain groups that will do this, as he's pointing out. God, there was one not too long ago. Actually, here's a good one. Goodwill.
Okay.
Goodwill says it's a consignment store and it's there to help people, right? So you go in, you give donations of your old stuff.
They sell it.
They sell it. They, and yes, it is lower money, but it is all for profit. They pay hardly any taxes on it. They pay their employees jack. And then when you do go there and get these clothes, they're not always in decent condition. You may wear it for 2 or 3 washes and it falls apart on you.
Right. Right.
So now you, as a person that may have been your only option, have gone in. I have spent what little money I have on something. So, like maybe an outfit for an interview.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Didn't get job 1, didn't get job 2, have to wash it, and now it's gone again. Now I am in a worse position for having gone there.
But they have places that give you clothes for job
They do.
interviews, but people don't know that.
And it isn't widely known. I mean, you don't see these places that are actually trying to help advertise
Right.
because it's all word of mouth. Why aren't they advertising? Because they put all their money into actually trying to help. They don't care about more because that's not their job. Their job is to help the one to a point where they don't longer need any help, and then the next, and then the next. And it's sad that we don't see people go onto Facebook as we are right now,
Right.
or say Twitter, though no one likes Elon anymore, so Insta, whatever, and give these places a shout out. You see it periodically throughout here, but you don't see a mass, overwhelming voice for it.
Right. Mr. Quentin has been joining us a lot lately. Thank you, Quentin, for your comments. You do have some great content. He said Whitmer deems some stores essential in part due to the voices of the Black organizers in Detroit. he said it was the right thing to do because many folks cannot get to the grocery store. Quentin, I'm going to debate you because no one is going to Paradise to buy toothbrushes, soap, and toothpaste.
Look, I can't get a bowl, a package of ramen, let alone, I don't know, a pot roast. But hey, I know I can pick up a fifth of whiskey,
Right.
which
And then the stores, that they cheer about around here that are closing up. Let's take example the one on the corner of Fleming and Pasadena.
okay.
It's closed, but it's become a dumping site.
hmm Actually, I was at the mall yesterday. I was trying to get my wife's ring repaired. So right next to Barnes and Noble,
Yes.
that entrance there, you walk through that is nothing in there anymore.
No, Wahlburger Burgers is gone.
Bar Louis,
Bar Louis
Bar
is
Louis is
gone.
gone.
Mo Pete's.
Mo Pete's.
Yep.
Portrait
And-
Innovations. The Mattress Place.
So I walked in through there, and there's like 4 or 5 restaurants, and I read the sign on one. No, it was actually a consignment store. It was an actual consignment store, and they had it's been up there since October of 2020. This sign that the owner is happy that they've had this experience running this business, but they're lamenting that they've had to shut it down because with COVID and everything, and they couldn't have as many people, they couldn't have any people, they just had to close doors. She couldn't afford her bills or the lease anymore.
Mm-hmm. They have raised the rent. So I've talked to a lot of the people out there at the valley. They've raised the rent so much on those stores that they can't afford it.
I
And
mean,
the same man
the only
that,
thing that's
that
there
owns
anymore.
Genesee Valley is the same man that
What's that?
I think he owns Lakeshore, Northland, and Detroit,
That went
Fashion
to
Square,
shit.
Saginaw, all of them that have closed. Like he has closed all of these malls.
And it's got the same business record as Trump.
Right.
I mean,
But
don't get me wrong.
these are the people that we don't vet.
No.
This is what I'm talking about when it goes back to the guy who came before council that wanted the property, Value City property. Are we just going to give it to him and know his track record? Just like just because he has the money? Or why don't you open it up to the residents?
I mean, there's so many people around this city who may have a communal pool of money for something just like that.
Right.
Why? Because they actually care, and B, at the end, there is a way of making money, but since they are actual people and not slumlords or a corporation, they have empathy, and I can honestly
Or
see
not in the in crowd.
exactly, and I can honestly see them trying to update these structures.
Yeah,
Wave
and
something
Mama
shiny.
Quill said, "Yep,
See?
that's what she said. They wave something shiny in front of us, and we say, okay." That back to what Art say.
That-
We just vote and don't hold nobody
And that's just like
accountable.
with the store. That show you the mind state in the poor communities.
Mhm.
We don't even have a grocery store in the north side like a Myers.
We got one coming.
But hold up, but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And someone's
But
got
we-
to get slapped with those taxes.
Yeah, but we ain't got one. So that we thinking this just to show you why it goes into how we eat. The reason you see obesity in the inner cities.
Oh man.
Because you mean to tell me you want to go to a party store to feed yourself?
Right.
When in other affluent neighborhoods, they got grocery stores you can go to
Right.
So
when you can get something like. I'm just saying this is what we settle down to party stores as our grocery stores
We have
now.
conditioned ourselves to think this
Check
is all
this
we
out.
deserve.
So I remember seeing a meme, and it's that one kid in Africa looking at the white lady from whatever charity, and the caption on it is, "You mean to tell me in America even your or your poor people are fat?" Here's the thing, and it's I refuse to feed my kids meals that come out of a box, like a meal of just mac and cheese or a meal of just spaghetti, something like that. Why? Because they are nutritionally devoid of anything. It is empty calories, empty carbs, and all it does is build fat. It doesn't help you build muscle. It doesn't help. It literally starts rotting your insides.
Right.
So that is why I'm a big proponent of either homemade pasta, which costs me an arm and a leg, making some sort of entree with meat, have a side of vegetables, and they can come out of a can. That's
But where
fine.
you gotta go to buy all that stuff?
I have to go to Walmart. Now, here's the thing. This is not cheap, and I am not a very well-off person. I've overdrafted my account to make sure my kids are fed right, and that's once again, part of the impoverished community. We don't have actual grocery stores
Mhm.
run by our community that buy local produce. I mean, we've got so many farms on the outside of Flint. When I was running the agriculture, one of these agriculture folks, Pax, wrote me, and I told him, hey, I ain't got no farmers really in the 70th district. I'll support the hell out of you guys, but you know, thank you for writing me, but I can't honestly go for your endorsement because I don't have no farms.
Right.
But if we had a local grocery store, I mean actual local, that would buy from our farmers around here, from our if we have any ranchers, any cattlemen around here, or chickens, or pork, it would, number one, be so much damn cheaper. Where we can afford to feed our families healthy, wholesome meals where they don't get just these empty calories. But that's all we can afford a lot of the time. And, you know, I've ruined my credit. My bank, when they see me walk in before my disability hits, you can see the tellers go, oh no, because they know I might be 300 in the hole just from grocery shopping.
Right. Right.
That's where things come around.
Yeah, no, that's where it's messed up at.
So that grocery store going up on the north side, do we know how they're gonna do their groceries?
Hell no. We just go to the event center. We don't know nothing about that
So
store.
no, we,
Like,
Not a
the
nothing.
city
I refuse
probably,
to go into Save a Lot anymore.
the city probably.
My-
Yeah, well, it's your show to end it out.
All right. You know what? How about next time we just continue on this train of thought and just I like the wandering conversations we have.
I like how you come prepared, and I just follow after you. You know, I cut in sometimes, read a couple comments.
Oh yeah.
But I like how you know you go over your content.
But I do want to go back to one thing
What-
where that lady said we only look at the bad around here. Here's the thing. There is a ton of bad, but anytime we see it, I know you do, I know I do. I've seen many others on this platform, and I see many others around Flint calling out the positive, actual positive, not some sparkly gold thing in your face.
Right.
But things where people are actually reaching out and trying to do better and making things better for the rest of us. And we call out our council members, whether we agree with them or not, when they do something positive. You know, not everyone's a fan of Dennis, but I was so happy for him when he voted for that investigation. And he didn't show up, so he let me the hell down. But
I wonder if they're gonna have another meeting on that.
you know what? As long as we just get an outside investigator, I don't care. I just want an independent outside investigator, and then them to stop muddling with it because they're just gonna fuck it up.
Right. That's true.
So anyway,
Oh, I
We-
got one more question for you.
we
before
got
end.
answers.
I got a question for you.
Oh.
You personally,
Okay.
because you're a resident of the city of Flint.
Okay.
Why are you suing Eric Mays?
Oh, well, you see, as a resident of the city of Flint, my city council and my city thinks that I'm too stupid to have a say myself, so I just have to do what they say.
Okay.
I'm not asked about this shit.
All right.
I wasn't asked.
I knew he was gonna give us a good ass answer.
No, I am honestly too stupid to know this stuff. They trust that they know better than me. I'm not asked.
So you just gotta waste your taxpayer dollars on suing him and
Man, I waste my taxpayer dollars on everything, and then some dude tries stealing $500,000 of it, and they don't even flinch. Well, one did, and then he is told, "Bad, no, you're gonna get me in trouble." So he
well,
stopped.
we still got hope. He said after the election he was gonna pick it back up.
This is episode 4 of Trevor asking Quincy Murphy for an investigation into bid rigging.
Next year.
We are gonna keep a tally. You know what? I'm getting a whiteboard.
All right.
No.
We're getting a whiteboard. So weeks without Councilman Quincy Murphy investigating bid rigging, weeks without discussion on the fire, weeks without, because
Years without an organizational chart, years
Oh,
without
man.
a police plan, years without a safety plan. Hey, and years, let me tell you, one more thing before we go, because I know Mickey is ready.
Oh yeah, look
We
at that, man.
never have any ambulances in the city of Flint. They
13.
always tied up.
Stat EMS has 10 buses with a subcontract to a company with 3 buses, and majority of the time, at least 7 or 8 are down for maintenance. Yes.
Absolutely. Now look, let me tell you here.
Sorry about that.
Most of the ambulances are being used for opioid overdoses.
Mhm.
We got $8.1 million received in the city of Flint thanks to Dr. Weaver filing that opioid lawsuit.
Yeah.
Where's the plan?
Here's the thing.
But we want to hold. This is what you was gonna talk about. We want to hold a press conference about an average about somebody finding some C4 in the door.
Man,
Yeah,
I already,
I look, you know,
I
I'm
already-
about to get him going
We
now.
already went through
I
that.
already dressed that idiot up, down, sideways, and backwards, and then his puppet as well. And like I said last time, I'm not saying that. Okay, I did just say, but I'm not meaning in reality that Chief Green is Neely's puppet. I am saying that last time he went in for a colonoscopy, they found Neely's wristwatch. All right.
Oh, we're gonna end that right there.